Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Pathetic the Podcast. Happy Halloween. We see that one of us is in a festive mood tonight.
Oh, absolutely.
We're happy to be coming back at you. A lot of things to talk about tonight. Guys, I do want to kick it off before we even say our hellos and all to talk about Nick Mangold from the Jets passing away. He truly was a New York legend. He might have been one of the best centers the Jets have ever had. I mean, between him and Kevin Y, they were great. And it just doesn't seem real because just 2 weeks ago, he was asking for a kidney. And as Bart Scott said on the Jet pregame show on SNY when they first found out, he said, we were all rallying around and starting to get the ball rolling to get him a kidney to help, one of our own. And then we find out this morning that he passed away. And forget about him as a football player. He was a great football player. He was a husband. He was a father. He had 4 young children. And I've never met him, but from everyone who spoke about him, he was just a great guy. Even Olu Fashanu, who wears his number, was very upset when he found out Sunday morning. His dad texted him. He said because he actually, Nick Mangold fought with him to make Olu wear his number. He says, and I know you're gonna wear it proudly and make me proud. He goes, he helped me, and he says, and he was a great guy and part of some really, really, really good Jet teams that we followed. Mike, that was right in our wheelhouse,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was one of the nicest guys, I think, out there. He was always charitable. He would always hang out with the boys. He would be really just excited about, he just loved life. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the kind of guy you wanted to be around, was a Nick Mangold. I remember when he got cut from the Jets towards the end of his career, he was in Disney World. And he was going down Splash Mountain, and he posted a picture of like the picture of the ride, when you're going down the big drop at the end. He was just pissed off looking at his kids saying, when you find out you've been cut from the Jets on when you're riding Splash Mountain. And that's just the guy that he was. I mean,
Yeah.
I was absolutely devastated Sunday morning. I felt like it was a family member. I just wish that they could have found something for him beforehand. Just makes you want to be an organ donor and sign up for those things if you haven't already. It doesn't take much to be a donor. You're not going to need those organs at that time anyway. So if you sign up for that on your license, it may save a life. So,
Yeah.
it's important to do that. And, but the biggest thing about Nick was he loved life. So I can't wait to go to Canton when he gets inducted.
Absolutely.
That's going to be quite a ceremony there. So I'm excited for that. Wish he could have been there in person for it because I know how much it would have meant to him. But I still think it's going to be an amazing ceremony when he gets there.
Yeah, this was obviously a rough one for the Jet fan, but it's also a rough one for football. Especially New York football. I'm a
Yeah.
Giants fan, as everybody knows, but I know Nick Mangold very well. I remember watching him under the Rex years. Some would say the heyday of Jets football, where they made back-to-back 2 AFC championship games. And a lot of that had to do with Nick Mangold. He was the captain inside the locker room. I'm sure he was the captain there too. Kept the team together. Just a hell of a player, great guy. And it's very strange how it happened so fast. I remember seeing the news and I'm like, wait, wasn't he just asking for help? So
Yeah.
it sounds to me like he didn't want to ask for help for a long time. Like he didn't want to be that guy, right?
Yeah.
Because this had to be diagnosed a while ago. And he didn't want to be the charity guy or whatever you want to call it, even though nobody would have looked at him like that. But when I think of Nick Mangold, I think winner, right? I really do. The guy just was a winner. And he can only do so much on the offensive line. He can't score touchdowns, he can't stop people, but for what he did at his position, he was amazing. And as you guys alluded to, a great guy. So
Yeah.
a devastating, devastating loss for for New York football for sure.
I was watching Rex Ryan on ESPN
Oof,
Sunday
that was
morning,
rough.
Yep.
That was rough.
and the story he told while he was uncontrollably sobbing was how he knew it was going to be his last game before being fired. And Nick Mangold, who was injured and not expected to play, walked in and said to Rex Ryan, "I'm playing today. I'm playing in your game today." That's the kind of a player he was.
Yeah.
That's you wish that people would have that kind of, I mean, just that kind of leadership and that kind of
Yeah.
loyalty, you know? I
Yeah.
mean,
And
it's
listen, I believe in a higher power, and I think Nick Mangold had something to do with that game.
no
I'm telling you.
question.
I really do. And I know some people may agree, may not agree. There's no question.
Yeah,
The way
yeah.
The Jets won that game, how is that possible?
You
I believe Nick Mangold has something to do with that.
Well, me and Mike are definitely going to talk about that game. Um, there were Listen, the Jets have played a lot, pretty much like dog crap, a lot of the year. And yet, when you look at the games, if you try to take the emotion out of it, okay, we lost close to Pittsburgh at home. We lost close to Tampa Bay. Thought we were going to win that. Me and Jeff were like, going berserk in a restaurant watching it. Thought we might have beaten Miami, close game. Thought we might have beat Denver in London. And then they finally, I think, I don't know, realize the kind of a game plan they have to put together for Justin Fields, coming off the week where Woody Johnson just eviscerates him, which was uncalled for completely. And then we find out just how much of a sensitive guy he is, where he says, I spent a lot of time this week reflecting and crying that I've let down my team and I've let down myself. He's such a good guy.
Yeah.
And listen, I know even if he plays the last 8, 9 games, whatever it is, and he's really good, I think we still need to look at a quarterback, because who knows? But that just felt so good, not only for Justin Fields, but for me, for Aaron Glenn. Because if you think about it, he has really cleaned up the penalties. He really
Mm-hmm.
has. I mean, we have very low amount of penalties. A lot now we're not getting the takeaways, but a lot of the stupid mistakes, you're seeing them disappear now. And I guess it just shows you that when you're doing this, it's a slow build. And we can't get too high and we can't get too low. And I, listen, I ripped them apart. And because I'm emotional and I love this team. But Mike, I know you were excited Sunday. I
Oh,
know you were.
absolutely. I mean, I was locked into this game. We were at the Bethlehem Halloween parade. I'm pulling in. I get the news about Mangold. I'm all upset. I'm like, we gotta find a way to pull out this game. And then we play like absolute crap for the first half of the game, where I'm just like, it just was not going our way. And then all of a sudden, the second half happens, and even the fourth quarter happens, where you're down 15 points or 14 points, and you get the stops that you need, and you get the 2-point conversion that you never get, and that play from Breece Hall. I'm with you, Jeff. I think Mangold had something to do to get that ball through
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
defenders to get it to the tight end for that touchdown. Just watching the end of that game, I was watching on a phone. We had Red Zone hooked up to our thing, and we were watching the end. It just made me so happy because we just been through the ringer this entire season, and to just have now we have a week and a half
Yeah.
where we're now able to breathe and not feel
Yeah.
like we're the butt of everyone's joke and everything else. I'm so relieved that they got that win. And I'm not going to be that guy, but I am going to be that guy. looking at the rest of the schedule,
Oh, this guy.
Oh boy.
I'm
Here
not
we
saying
go.
they're going to be 9-8 at the end of this. But
Oh
if
boy.
somehow they can somehow get to 6-10 by the end of this season,
I
I
agree.
would be ecstatic. And that sets you up ready to go for next year because you've figured out all the nonsense. You know that Justin Field is probably not your quarterback. You're not going to win these games by him throwing for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. So you're going to have a chance to get a quarterback, and you're going to have a team that is starting to buy into what Aaron Glenn is selling. So
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that that's going to be the case. I hope we're not sitting at 1-15 at the end of the season, which I don't think we are. I think best, worst case scenario, we're probably 3-14, because there are a couple of games in there that I think will be certainly winnable games. I mean, almost all of them are winnable games, other than maybe the Buffalo game. But other than that, I'm excited to see what this team does after the bye week. I'm looking forward to what they can do and what this rest of this season is going to look like now that this monkey is off our back with not having a win yet.
Yeah, and I texted you guys right after the game with a bunch of my other Jet fan friends saying, "Don't worry about the draft pick. Forget tanking."
100%.
And I know some Jet fans are like, "Oh, we're better off losing that game. There goes the number one
No.
overall pick." First of all, this is a quarterback stew in the draft coming up. We don't know who's going to be the best. You could have the 10th pick and still have a great quarterback.
Yep.
But the Jets, man, I mean, that was such a non-Jet win.
Yeah.
How much? Like, I guarantee you guys were thinking that last drive by the Bengals, they're gonna hit it 2 passes, and it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be like a 50-yard field
Yep.
goal and game over. But listen, I got to give Aaron Glenn credit. The team is fighting for him. There's no question about it. Give Justin Fields credit, but you got to be careful, right? Because we saw, the first, the whole season pretty much where they just didn't do it, right? They weren't doing anything right, and there were problems. But to your point, Uncle Ted, they did cut down the penalties. But now what you want to see is some consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying they got to do that every game and put up, what was it, 41 points or whatever it was. They don't have to do that, but win.
Yeah.
Win games that you should. Because I'm looking back at the games. There were, I think, 3 or 4 games where they should have won this year, and
Mm-hmm.
they
Yep.
didn't. Whether it was poor quarterback play, dumb coaching decisions, if that can get cleaned up, the Jets have talent, right? I'm not sold on Justin Fields. I still don't think he's good, but you could see he does have something where he can have a good game. Like, he's not awful, right? So again, what you want to see is the consistency. Mike, to your point, the schedule, it's actually very easy. Like, it's shockingly easy, especially compared to what we
Mm-hmm.
have coming up. But you got to have hope. You can't say, "Oh, the season's still over. Who cares?" Look at the schedule,
Yeah.
right? Do the record math in your head. Who cares about jinxing it, Mike? You're gonna jinx it anyway, so who cares?
Right.
It doesn't matter, right? But
Well,
it really, I mean, you gotta look. I'm even with the Giants. I'm still looking at the schedule. Like, all right, they look better. Maybe they could beat this team. What's the point of giving up, right? So we'll see
here's
what
what we're gonna
happens. But you
here's
want
what
to
we're
see the
gonna do, Jeff.
consistency.
Jeff, here's what we're
Go.
gonna do. Because you mentioned Mike, and I didn't want to do this, but we're gonna do it. Mikey, we're gonna play the win-loss-win game. Only you. And by the way, I love that hair. I love that.
It's flowing.
It is.
It's I wish I could style my hair this way every day, but it just is not the
Jeff, doesn't he look like when George Costanza says, "I was bald"?
Yes, yes.
correct.
Are you ready, Mikey?
I'm ready. Fire them away. I'm not even looking at the schedule, so you're
No,
gonna give them to me cold here.
Home for the Browns.
That's a win.
At New England.
I'm gonna say loss there. That's a tough one.
At the Ravens.
Lamar's back.
It's competitive, but I think it's another loss.
Atlanta comes in.
That's a win.
Miami comes in.
That's another win.
At Jacksonville.
I don't trust Jacksonville as far as I can throw them. I'm going to say another win. We're gonna ride this thing out. We're gonna really go for it here.
Home for the Pats.
We're gonna beat the Pats. We're gonna split with New England this year. I don't buy this Vrabel nonsense, so I'm gonna split with the Pats.
At Buffalo.
That's a loss probably.
Okay, so that's 5 more wins. We do finish the year 6-11. I guess that is right.
And you got the
6 and
Saints in
11.
there too, right?
Oh, did I not say the Saints? No, I said the Saints. Didn't I?
Did you?
Hold on one second. So you said Browns, Atlanta, Miami, Jaguars, Saints.
Oh, I didn't say Saints,
Oh,
but
it's 6.
Saints is a win. Yeah.
So it's 7 and 10. All right, that's not. I mean, well, listen, it is crazy. Stop it.
It is crazy, but
That's wild. That is wild.
it's as wild as
that's how you
hair
have to
is.
think.
So
It's as wild as that hair. Exactly.
yeah.
One other thing, the NFL trade deadline, I think, ends November 4th. Jets actually made a very interesting trade yesterday. Jeff, I don't know if you heard, they traded Michael Carter II, defensive back who was getting no play because he really just wasn't catching on, and a 7th-round pick to the Philadelphia Eagles for wide receiver John Mechie and a 6th-round pick. Now, everybody would say, who the hell is John Mechie? Okay, John Mechie was a 2nd-round pick out of Alabama. In his last year in Alabama, in 2021, he had well over 1,000 yards receiving. He was drafted in the 2nd round, 44th overall by Houston. He played a lot of games. He had in one playoff game, his last playoff game there, he had 6 catches for like 63 yards. And then he went to the Eagles. Now, but the one thing is, I think it was either just before training camp with Houston or just after he finished with Houston, he was diagnosed with a form of leukemia. So it cost him a lot of time.
Okay.
But he is like a couple of football people were saying when he came out, they had him rated in that wide receiver class that year as being very high, and we're surprised that he slipped to the 44th spot. And, it's a chance that the Jets are catching a little bit of a lightning in a bottle, like a lottery ticket, where, it looks like an innocuous kind of trade, but it could be something good where maybe he could be a number 2 or a number 3, maybe a number 3,
And if it doesn't work out, who cares? You
Who
didn't give up
cares?
anything except Michael Carter II, who wasn't even playing.
Right.
So you basically got a free player.
And we picked
and
up
if it works,
a higher
it works.
draft
If it
pick.
doesn't, who cares?
Yeah, we picked up a higher draft pick.
He can't be any worse than the 2 and 3 wide receivers that we have currently. I mean, Lazard is completely washed up. I don't even know who half of these other guys are.
Yeah.
And, putting him next to Wilson, if he comes back, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Because, again, he can't be worse than the other guys. So
it gives you options. That's the thing. It gives you options. So after all our euphoria, and believe it or not, I lost a pretty good amount of money on the Jet game because I told you guys I was betting Cincinnati, and I did in a couple of different ways, and I lost, and I was happy I lost. Amazingly, I was happy. I don't care about the draft pick. Wherever we draft. I don't care.
Right. We're going to screw it up anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. But I had the split screen on. I was watching a lot of the Giants. I was watching a lot of the Jets. Just, Jeff, give us your pick about the Giant game against the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the refs are terrible, but that's not why they lost. The refs were so bad in that game. And when you're punching upwards like the Giants are in this game with Jackson Dart having no weapons, I mean, the drops are unbelievable. Scatabo goes out. You need, you can't have the refs screwing this game up because it just makes it more difficult to pull off the upset, right? But I'm not going to spend time on the refs. We all know they're bad. But let's just look at this Giant season for a second. My mind is in New York Giant mashed potatoes right now because I don't know what to think. Right? Jackson Dart's first game against the Chargers, they win. We're back. We're all pumped. They go out to New Orleans. They get smacked up. We're down again. Then they go to Philadelphia. They beat the Eagles. We're back up. Go to the Broncos. Back down. Eagles back. So I don't know what to think right now. right? But the one thing I do know is we got the quarterback, and he continues to show it every week, even in the losses. He's so consistent. It's really unbelievable for a rookie what he's doing. So, from that regard, the quarterback is there. I have zero worries about him. But look, I'm sick of losing. And under this coach, that is all we've been doing is losing, losing, and squeezing in a couple of wins because Jackson Dart is there. Like he's giving Dable a couple of wins. I'm telling you right now, man, if Russell Wilson's starting, we probably have one win, maybe,
Mhm.
if that, maybe zero. We might be 0 for right now. So I don't know what to think about the Giants. I really don't because I don't know how you could bring this guy back, man. It's wasting a really good quarterback because this guy does not know how to win for whatever reason. You know, whether it's a bad decision, multiple bad decisions.
Yeah.
I just can't see in any way, shape, or form you bring this guy back. And I want to throw a guy out there for you guys. See what you think. What about bringing in John Gruden next year for the
Oh,
Giants?
I love it.
I think that's. I'll tell you why I love it. First of all, he's a good coach. We know that he wins. Secondly, he loves Jackson Dart. Loves him,
Hmm.
right? So if the concern for the Giant fan is, well, I don't want to get rid of Brian Dable because of the progression of Jackson Dart's going to get disrupted, bring in a guy that knows offense and will be aggressive with Dart, won't hold him back. That's thinking far ahead. You know, who knows what's going to happen? We'll see, you know, how it plays out. But you know, Dable's not going to win enough games to keep his job. This guy does
Great.
not win. Okay. So what we're going to see, and this is my prediction, the rest of the year, they'll win maybe two other games, maybe three. We're going to see Jackson Dart playing really well, probably getting rookie of the year, but they're not going to rack up the wins, which I think ultimately will cost Dable his job.
Now, the only issue I would have is I don't know if Mara is going to be on board with bringing in Gruden with all you know, the persona non grata that Gruden is out there. I would love to see him in New York. I think he would love all of the media spectacle that it would be every week for a press conference. They would be foaming at the mouth. I could see all those New York reporters just lining up ready to go for that press conference. That's the only concern I would have is that I don't know if Mara is going to want him in there because then he becomes the the anger of all their other owners because I think Gruden is kind of it honestly, if you're gonna have him come to a team, it's got to be a team like the Jets or a team like someone who is kind of an also ran here. I don't know if they would want one of their bellwether franchises bringing in Gruden to start with, but um, I think the biggest thing that Dable has to do is he's got to get someone in here who knows how to coach the defense because he clearly has no idea what he's doing when it comes to defensive schemes or in-game adjustments or anything else. And the guy he has in there now is an absolute joke. I mean, you have two of the best pass rushers in the league and you can't get any pressure. I just don't get it. Like you're just letting guys stand back there and you're dropping 8 guys and they have all day to throw. You can't do that in the NFL now. The only way you win in the NFL is if you get to the quarterback and you make his life miserable because if you give him enough time, someone's going to get open. The rules are set up for that to be the case. So you got to get an experienced defensive guy in here. I love when they had Wink Martindale in because that's when the Giants actually had an idea, and that was the year that they went to the playoffs and won the game because they had a guy on defense who was the guy in the room. Now, they ended up costing him his job because Dable didn't want to be the second fiddle to him on the defensive side, but that's the kind of guy you need in there if you're going to keep Dable because you want him to be with Jackson Dart. You got to get somebody in there on the defense who's that kind of guy. And I'll tell you who that guy is. You're not going to like it, Jeff, but it's Rex Ryan who's going to be
Yeah.
the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
That's the guy you want in there to be the second fiddle in that arena. So
Yeah,
Could
but does he want to be a defensive coordinator? That's the question. I
I
but
don't
he
know if
think
he
he
knows
would
that
does.
if they
I think he would
stink,
take
he's
that.
going to get fired, and then he's going to become the Giant head coach because he's going to slide right in. If Dable would have the shortest leash possible with Rex Ryan as a defensive coordinator.
Oh,
Couple of things. Number one, Mike, I agree with you. The Giants defensive coordinator is dog crap. Okay. But also, what doesn't help him is that Dexter Lawrence is garbage this year.
Yeah.
And they were looking at it because apparently Carl Banks said a few things about him. And he's right. They're not double teaming him anymore, and he's still not getting the pressure. And he doesn't see it, which is a problem. And I think if he was getting to the quarterback, it might make that defensive coordinator look a little bit better. Number two, I agree with the Gruden thing. I think Gruden would be a big upgrade. Okay. Mike, I also agree with what you said about the Giants. The NFL doesn't want one of its bellwether franchises doing this. I'm going to tell you something, and I'm saying this as respectfully as I possibly can. I'm sick of hearing about how the Giants are a bellwether franchise in the NFL. They're not anymore.
Not anymore.
They're not anymore. They're not. So stop it. And you know what, Mara? Maybe it's time you stopped being Mr. Football. Mr. I've been in this game, or my family's owned this team for 1,000 years, and this is how we do it. Maybe it's time to do something a little out of the Giant box, okay? And do something like getting a Gruden or getting a Rex Ryan. But the thing is, I agree, and I think that Dable's going to be gone. I agree with Jeff. I don't think he's going to win enough games. I also don't think that whoever comes in is going to hurt Dart at all. I think Dart is going to be just fine because he's a talent. He knows what he's doing. I think the biggest problem was, and I hate the fact that I said this, I was concerned that Cam Scatterboo would not make it through the season without getting hurt. That injury, that dislocated ankle, and then they tell you it was a successful surgery. Well, honestly, all surgeries are successful unless the guy dies. We don't know how he's going to come back. That dislocated ankles, I mean, that's not a joke. That ankle was kind of in a way it shouldn't be.
Yep.
I mean, I think the first thing he should be looking at is, will I be able to walk when I'm 55 years old without a limb?
Yeah.
I'm hoping he comes back because Cam Scatterboo in anybody's lineup makes it a better day for the NFL. No question.
Yeah.
Yep.
No question.
Yeah.
They were much watched with those two. Every single week. You wanted to watch every single play that those two guys were in because you knew something fun was going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, that was, and they didn't even show it on TV. The injury, it was so bad,
gruesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And before we get to our picks, I do have to address the Rex Ryan thing because that kind of knocked me back for a second. Here's my problem with that. I got a few problems with that. All right. First of all, I love the creativity, Mike. I did not see Rex Ryan coming, but we talked about Brian Dable, wanting to be the alpha male in the room. Those two will have a fist fight by the time the season is even halfway through. Secondly, yes, I know what you're saying about, okay, so he'll be there to be the head coach when Dable gets fired. I don't want Rex Ryan as the head coach. I'll take him as the DC. I don't want him waiting in the wings to become I want nothing to do with that guy as head coach. Like, what's that?
You could do a lot worse than Rex Ryan.
You could do a lot better though. That's the thing. And if we're hiring him for just DC, okay, I would take it. But that doesn't mean he's next in line to be the head coach. Want nothing to do with that at all. As DC, 100%.
I agree with that because I'll tell you this. First of all, I don't think Mara has the balls to have them hire him as a DC. And if Mara did have the balls to hire him as a DC, he certainly doesn't have the balls to make him the head coach. I firmly agree with that. He would never have Rex Ryan as his head coach. But I'll tell you this, and we were dead wrong in the beginning of the season, dead wrong on Rex Ryan because, yeah, a lot of weird crap went down at the end of Rex's tenure. A lot of that was because of Tannenbaum, and a bunch of it was because of Idzig. And they put him in a really bad position. But when you look around, let's look at some of the guys. Would you rather have name all your coaches before you had Joe Judge? Who was the guy who had
Pat Shermer and Ben McAdoo?
Ben McAdoo, Adam Gase, Rob Saleh, even Aaron Glenn. I love Aaron Glenn, but even Aaron Glenn. So, I mean, I just think the league has decided that we're not going to worry about Rex anymore. We don't like him. And I think that's horse crap when you do something like that. I think he deserves, so does Gruden. Gruden deserves a shot somewhere too. And
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just think Gruden would be a much better fit because
100%.
I want an offense. I don't want a defensive
I
guy. I'm
agree with you
sorry,
on
I
that.
don't. I don't think defensive
Yeah.
coaches are the way nowadays. They're just not. You
Yep.
need an offensive guy. You
I
do
agree.
to win a Super Bowl or
I
get to the
agree.
playoffs at least. But
Guys, I know.
this is all like this is all hypothetical.
Yeah.
We're not even close to this, but
Right.
it's fun to talk about.
And guys, real quick, I know you guys, because you're Yankee fans, you don't like the Blue Jays. I'm rooting for the Blue Jays. I actually have a few
So am I.
cheddar.
I am
Oh, are you?
actually as
Oh,
well.
good.
I
I
am
am too.
because Donnie Baseball's on their
Yes.
staff, so that's exactly
Yes, sir.
why I'm rooting for
Exactly.
him to get a ring finally. So
Well, I put my money
And
where
it
my
makes the
mouth
Yankees
was,
look better. It makes the Yankees look better if they got knocked out by the
by
World
the world
Series champs.
champions.
So
right.
Yep.
it's a little consolation prize.
Well, I put my money where my mouth is, and I have a few cheddar goldfish on them for the series. So I'm hoping they just end it tomorrow night.
I will
So
say I passed out on the couch the other night watching the Monday Night Football game, and I woke up. It was about 2:15 in the morning, and I'm like, oh, let me see who won the football game, and they're like, oh, let me go see who won the Dodger game, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's in the 16th inning. I better put this thing on. I gotta go. I'm wide awake now. I'm watching the end of this game, so I caught the last 2.5 innings in a complete stupor on my couch. Monday night, so into
and
Tuesday morning.
Mike, I feel like I did my job. I was telling Jeff before you came on, I was in Pittsburgh on business this week, and I was asking two guys in an office about Mike Tomlin, and the one guy wants him out. The other guy doesn't, and it just sparked an argument, which is tremendous.
That's
And then I
great.
kind of just walked away while they were fighting, so it was really good.
That's awesome.
So before we get to our NFL picks, I want to ask you, how did
There we go.
Yeah.
how did the Mikey Mush picks go this past week?
So we had our rugby union 3-team parlay. We hit 2 out of 3. So if you bet them separately, like a responsible person would, you got 2 out of 3 correct. So the Exeter Chiefs did beat the Gloucester rugby team 39-12. You had the Leicester Tigers beating the Sale Sharks 36-35, close game. But unfortunately, the Harlequins smoked our underdog pick, the Newcastle Red Bull Falcons, 52-14. So that was not even remotely close. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I will take it. I do have a Mikey Mush, and my bonus pick also did hit. The Liberty Hurricanes crushed the Freedom Patriots. I think it was like 42-14, I think was the final.
Nice.
Our quarterback had a school record 360 yards passing in the game. So, and we get to play them again next week. So I'm going to roll with Liberty again in the playoffs against Freedom. We're the home team now for this week, even though we play in the exact same stadium. We're just going to move across the field to the home side. So I will pick Liberty Hurricanes as the Mikey Mush bonus pick. And when it comes to the picks this week, we're going to go over to the Austrian Ice League. So it is ice hockey. It is hockey season after all. So I have a 3-team parlay for the Austrian Ice League, ICE capitalized. I don't know what that means, but maybe it's a sponsorship or something.
Ice.
So I'm gonna take Villach to beat the Vienna Capitals. I don't have spreads on these games, but I can't bet the Capitals in any way, shape, or form in hockey. I don't care if they're in Vienna versus Washington. Doesn't matter. Capitals are dead to me. So I will take Villach over the Vienna Capitals. I will take Bolzano because the name just sounds great against the Graz 99ers, whoever they are. And then I will take the
owns that team.
Yes, probably. And then I will take the Val Pasterias, again, just on vibes against the Verhaver AV19s, whatever they are. So Val Pastera, Bolzano, and Villach in the Austrian Ice League. All these games are on Sunday, the 2nd. So keep an eye out for those. Root for Liberty hard on Saturday. Mikey Mush's picks for the week of Halloween.
First of all,
From Zach Morris.
Val Pastera sounds like when you go to the doctor with some kind of a rash on your arm, and
That's
he goes,
what
"Oh,
they give
that's
you."
Val Pastera." Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing, Jeff, doesn't Mike look like one of the anchors on the Sky Sports Desk in England?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he looks like a few things. The first thing I thought was Zach Morris. That was
Yeah.
number one.
Yep.
That was the clear one. But yeah, you're right. He
I'm
looks
getting
like
a little
that too.
PFT commenter vibe as well from Barstool a little bit. If I put a
Yes.
hat on, that would look that way as well. Especially with the sunglasses on, I think that
I
makes it look
agree.
more like that.
100%. Yeah.
Well, it's time to go to the NFL. Mike, say it.
In the
What is-
National Football League,
Where they play
play for pay.
Da-da-da. So going into this week, I think this is week 9 we're going into,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Yep.
I have a very slim lead, 13-11. 13 wins, 11 losses. Jeff is in second, 11 wins and 13 losses. He started off the season 0-3. So he's really making a comeback. Mike had a rough week this past week. He had all 3 losses. He is now 9-15. But listen, he's only 4 games out of first place. That
Yeah,
could
he's not
change.
mathematically eliminated.
No,
He's still
not at
in.
all.
And I hope everyone bet Houston last Sunday after the 3 of us all went against them.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about our picks yet, so again, if anyone sees that we're all 3 on the same side, make sure you run over to the other side. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I will say this before we even start. The biggest fraud in the NFL is the Atlanta Falcons. I'm
Oh
sorry.
my God. Yeah. No, they
Okay.
stink.
Should we go top to bottom, bottom to top, or middle, bottom, top? What do you think?
Let's go bottom to top. Mike, why don't you set us
Mikey,
off?
lead us off.
All right. So I'm going to take the first game will be Seattle Seahawks -3 against the Washington Commanders. It's in Washington. I know a West Coast team coming east, blah, blah, blah. I know all the stats about that. But Marcus Mariota is still going to be quarterbacking that team, and I don't trust Marcus Mariota as far as I can throw him, which is not very far. I love Seattle. I love what Sam Darnold's doing there. I think this team is going to make some noise in the playoffs and win that division. So give me Seattle -3 in Washington. Game number 1. Game number 2, give me the Indianapolis Colts -3 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the rose is finally off the bloom with Rodgers. I think this Pittsburgh team has a lot of flaws in it. I think you saw some of that against Green Bay. And I think that there's not really much to do there. I think the Colts are a wagon. I think they are going to run the ball down Pittsburgh's throat all game long. So give me Indianapolis -3. And then game number 3, give me the Chicago Bears -2.5 at the Cincinnati Bengals. I still don't trust anything, Flacco and anything else there. I am against all the old quarterbacks. That's my theme this week. So give me Chicago coming off the loss at Chicago. 3 away favorites. Seattle -3, Indy -3, Chicago -2.5. Mikey Mush's picks for week 9 in the National Football League.
All right.
All right. So I probably should have mentioned this in the beginning of the show. I may look different than I usually do here, or at least my screen does. I had a computer disaster today, so I'm doing this from my phone. So I got to go in and out. So you're going to lose me for 2 seconds. I'm coming back. I promise. I'll be back. First game I'm going to go is Broncos +1.5 over the Texans. I love the Broncos this year. We saw it firsthand. They are a very, very good football team. I don't buy the Texans at all. I actually like C.J. Stroud. Don't love the coach. So yeah, give me the Broncos over the Texans. Game number 2, I'm going with the team that I thought. This is so funny with this. I got to do this.
It
I'm
is
doing
pretty
pretty
funny.
good though. I got to go with the Patriots -5.5 over the Falcons. If you guys remember, I love the Patriots this year. I still do. I think Drake May is is on the ascend. There's no question about it. And, quite frankly, let's be honest. We said it before. The Falcons are not good. They are, I don't even know if I can call them frauds. I just think they stink.
Yeah.
I never thought they were good. So give me the Pats over the Falcons. And finally, I'm going to go the Lions minus 9.5 over the Vikings. That's a big number. The Vikings are kind of a mess right now. They're a little all over the place. And yeah, I really do like the Lions in that game a lot. So that is Jeff's 3 picks for week number, where are we at? 9?
9.
Right?
Week
Week
9.
9.
All right. Well, as the leader, 13-11, I really need a big week. I need to put a little separation between myself and you guys because I have a feeling that I'm going to take a fall. I really have that feeling. I think it's coming, and I'm hoping I can hold on as long as I can. But here we go. Jeff, I love Detroit, but 9.5 is a lot of points. So I couldn't touch that game. But I do also love Denver. Getting 1.5 against Houston, I agree. I don't think Houston's that good. So I'm taking Denver getting the 1.5. Mike, I agree with you on Indianapolis. -3. I think Pittsburgh's defense is extremely gettable. I think that Jonathan Taylor is going to run the ball down their throat. And then I think at the right times, I think Daniel Jones is going to he'll pick his spots. He'll throw for 240. And I think you're going to walk away with a tidy, 27-13 win over the Steelers, which will make the people in Pittsburgh just crazy. All right. They're just about on the edge now, and that's going to push them a little further. Jeff, I'm sorry to say this. Brock Purdy is back this week. He's been cleared to play. I'm sure he's going to play. I like San Francisco winning this game. 2.5, if it was a pick 'em, it would have been so much better. But 2.5, and listen, I don't think it's going to be an easy game for them, but I think that I think they're going to win this game. I think this is a tough spot for the Giants. The only thing in their favor is they are home playing a West Coast team, but I do
At 1 o'clock.
Yeah, at 1 o'clock. But I am going to pick San Francisco. I think they're going to come in prepared. So I like Denver getting 1.5. I like Indy on the road giving 3, and I like San Francisco on the road giving 2.5 in the National Football League. Guys, I hope you have a great weekend. Mike, other than the Liberty game, just be out there rooting for Liberty for us. Maybe we should wear Liberty jerseys the next time. If they win that Pennsylvania championship, I think we need to get jerseys.
Oh, 100%.
I'm in.
All right, so Jeff will have to send them down to you in Charlotte. But guys, just don't forget, like, subscribe, go to our Link.Tree, check out all our social media. But until next week, have a great weekend. I hope your teams win and just have a good time and stay safe. Take care.